Welcome to the Sports with Aliyah talk show. I'm super excited about today's guest because he's not only influential on the court, but in so many different people's lives. So I'm so excited to have Coach Joe Jackson on the show today.
Hey, thank you, Aliyah. I'm excited to be here.
So we're going to kind of touch on everything, but first and foremost, you just got hired on at where I graduated high school, Maize South, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How do you like it so far?
It's been incredible. It's great to be a Maverick. We've gotten our off-season conditioning program started, and with COVID going on and everything else, we've got to practice social distancing with that, but I've just been incredibly impressed with how welcoming everyone's been there, and not only that, but just how well all the coaches from different sports are working together, to try to give the kids a great experience. So it's been a great start, and I'm definitely excited to be a Mav.
That's awesome. And we actually brought up before the cameras were rolling that he found a Twitter account that I actually ran anonymously all throughout high school. And so I thought that was hilarious because I love the Mavericks. I was big on sports. So it's kind of coming full circle that you found that page and that I'm interviewing you today. But let's kind of backtrack a little bit. So how did you get your start, I guess, in coaching first?
Well, I graduated from Fort Hays State University in 2005, and I student taught that last semester in Hill City, Kansas, a small town in northwest Kansas. I'd grown up in Logan, Kansas, and we played against Hill City in basketball growing up, and Coach Riley and my dad had actually coached against each other for years. And Coach Riley is a legendary coach up there. He's the winningest active coach in Kansas, actually, and he asked me if I would like to come be his assistant. And so after student teaching and coaching with him, I stayed on his staff for 3 more years. I got a job teaching in the building there, and coached with him for a total of 4 years there. But working under Coach Riley was just an incredible experience. His wife is like a second mom to me. She would be upset with me anytime if I didn't come over for dinner after practice or anything like that. So, being a young kid just out of college, it was just an incredible experience to work under Coach Riley and to learn from him. And he's actually in a National Coaches Hall of Fame, and he's still actively coaching.
That's crazy.
So he's in his 70s now. He's super passionate about coaching still, and he's approaching 750 wins for his career, which, and you would never know, he's in his 70s by talking to him. He's as ornery as they come. We still talk weekly, and he's a lot of fun. So, getting to learn the ropes of coaching under him was absolutely incredible. My dad grew up, I grew up as a coach's son, so I was in the gym a lot there, but I really learned more about the coaching side of things when I started actually coaching versus playing. So then after I left Hill City, I got the opportunity to come to East High School and to coach in the City League, and Coach Ron Allen is another Hall of Fame coach, so I worked under him for 3 years. So the first 7 years of my coaching career were under 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and it was just truly an incredible experience. I felt like I learned so much, and I just tried to be a sponge every day and absorb everything I could. And when Coach Allen retired, I got the opportunity to become the head coach at East, and that's something I didn't take lightly. That was just such a tremendous experience to be able to be in a position to be, the head coach at a school with so much tradition. And so that's kind of how I got my start into coaching and everything. And it's just been an incredible ride. And I'm really excited about starting the next chapter here.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely got very lucky with who you got to coach under because not many people can say that. So you can do this individually for both coaches, or you can as a whole. What would you say is the most valuable thing that you've learned coaching under 2 Hall of Fame coaches?
Well, I really love that Coach Riley and Coach Allen were actually, they coached in 2 different styles. And I felt like, and as a coach, you've always got to be yourself. You're never going to go be someone you're not. But I felt like I've adapted my coaching style, and honestly being a big part of who I am, just from taking the things that I love from Coach Riley's system and taking the things I love from Coach Allen's system. And probably the biggest thing from both of them is just being able to communicate honestly and openly with the kids you're coaching, you know, and there's a lot to be said for just for honest conversation and teaching those communication skills and developing character in our young men we're working with. And you know, it's just been an incredible experience working with both of those coaches.
Yeah. And then how do you, I mean, you transitioned from head coach, assistant to head coach at the same school. So was it harder to kind of gain respect? I know you coach very respectable people, but is it weird to transition as an assistant to a head coach?
Well, you know, the first year there probably was just a slight transition period, you know, just as far as a few of the things we did switch up were a little bit different to the guys, and we kept a lot of Coach Allen's system in place.
Yeah.
So, but I think anytime there's a coaching change, there's going to be a slight transition period, and you know, I think by the second year, we really had everybody bought in and believing in, you know, what we were all about, and you know, we had a lot of success there over the years, and you know, so there was a small transition period, but it wasn't as bad as one might think. It also really helped because my first year as the head coach, our senior group that year was the group of freshmen that I had when they came in. So that was my first team at East. Coaching the freshmen there were seniors. My first year as the head coach.
That's cute.
And it's kind of I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but the last group of freshmen that I coached were seniors the year we won state. So
that's crazy.
It you know, was just an incredible ride there, incredible experience, and you know, I was very fortunate to have coached a lot of great players and to coach with some great assistants, and you know, we tried to maximize, you know, the abilities we had, and you know, had some success over the years, so it's been a lot of fun.
So on that note, you've actually coached quite a few players that I've interviewed, and one of them in particular, Semaj Haynes-Jones, he is an outstanding person, and I know that he's very open about some of the hardships that he's had in life, and anytime I talk to him, he definitely credits you as being such a big supporter. So can you kind of talk about your relationship with him?
Well, you know, he definitely went through a lot, and more than most kids have to deal with, you know, losing his mother in high school, and that's flattering that he gives me some credit about, you know, with that, but there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and there were so many people involved with his success, and I was a small part of that. And before his mother had passed, she'd had cancer, and she had asked me if I'd be willing to take him in, you know, when that time came, and so, I mean, he was just an incredible kid, and, you know, I'd been with him for 4 years, you know, through high school, and, but like I said, I was just a small part of that. There were so many people in our school at East and then in the community that were extremely supportive of him, and so it was great just to be a small part of that, you know. Semaj and I still have a great relationship. His professional season in Australia got cut short this year, and so he's back in town, and he had texted me the other day, and he wanted to come by the house to get some dumbbells so he could work out, and with all the shutdown stuff going on. So you know, he came out and we had a great talk, and you know, I'm actually, this is kind of a side note, but I'm actually getting married next weekend.
Oh, congrats.
So, well, thank you. But my fiance has a biological daughter, and then she has 2 sons that one is adopted, and the other we're going to be adopting this summer.
Oh, wow.
And so Semaj got to meet the boys and everything, and they hit it off with him, you know, and everything. And so that was just a great experience too, and everything. So it's awesome that you know, and he's so influential. Kids love him, you know, and he's done a fantastic job, you know, representing himself in the right ways.
Definitely.
And I obviously hope and wish and pray that he goes on to have a lot of success.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's amazing, and he is such a great guy. My little brother also loves him, and he's great with kids, and he was always someone that I knew that he would never make the program look bad, whether if it was East or Wichita State. He's just so fun, and I actually got to spend some time around him where it wasn't in a professional setting and it was at a forced game and he was just dancing, and I'm like, I like this side of you.
That's
so
right.
That's awesome.
that sounds just like him.
Yeah. Then another person that you've coached that we kind of brought up before the cameras were rolling, Zach Jackson, which is he's more reserved than Semaj, and he was my very first interview on this show. So how was he? Because he also talked about you so highly. So I'd like to see like your relationship with him as well.
Well, Semaj and Zach were in the same class, and they were super competitive. And you mentioned Zach being a little more reserved and a little quiet. Well, he's not that quiet on the basketball court, off the court, he's not going to say much, and he handles his business. He is, the hardest working kid I've ever been around. Very professional. When he got a scholarship to go to Nebraska Omaha, Coach Hansen and Coach Eberhardt both said that Zach is the most consistent freshman that they ever had in their program.
Wow.
And so you talk about an incredible compliment. And Zach was just every single day. He was one of those guys that we referred to as an everyday dude. You knew what you were going to get out of him when he showed up. And that's a result of the way he grew up, and his parents, Jeff and Rita, are incredible people, and the family values they have and the way they approach their life is just, second to none. And so Zach grew up in a great environment, and I'd like to think we didn't hurt that along the way. We're just a small part of that and building that up, and I still have a great relationship with Zach. He's an incredible kid, hardworking kid. I was an assistant coach when his older brother Nathan graduated, and just they're a great family and a lot of fun to be around. And Zach's one of those guys. I can talk basketball 24/7, and Zach's one of those guys that we hit it off just because of his passion for the game.
Yeah.
And so he'd come by the office, and he was just an incredible young man to coach. And we've had a lot of kids. We've been very fortunate to have had some great players and great young men, off the court in our program, and that's been truly, to me, building relationships like that are what coaching is all about. And we want to give our kids the best possible experience they can have in a basketball program. And we've had a lot of great years, and there's been a couple that haven't been as great, but that's my goal. Starting out at Maize South now is to give every kid in our program the best experience we can give them. So.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I admired about you, and why I wanted you on the show in the first place, is because you can have a great coach that the players just don't feel any connection to off the court. But to be both of those in one is amazing, and so I'm so excited to see what you do at Maize South. Has coaching high school always been what you wanted to do? Because I feel like this is a perfect age group because of how influential of a person you are. So has that always been, do you think you're going to stay in high school for a while?
That's a lot of people have asked me about coaching at the college level, and I've had a couple people at the college level that have approached me about some things, but I am really, really happy, where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be, starting a new chapter here with Maize South, and I really don't see that changing anytime in the near future. So I'm really excited about that. I'm completely happy. It's satisfying when you build those connections with kids, and you can see them go off and have some success in life, and just getting text messages from guys after they graduate, whether they're playing a college sport or whether they're being successful in life or in anything, truly is a lot of fun to me, and just building those relationships where you can connect with guys after the fact is awesome. So I'm really happy at the high school level, and I want to give our kids the best experience we can give. And before Maize South announced that I was going to be hired, I sent a group text out to our former East players just to kind of let them know, and that tugged at my heart a little bit, because when you're at a place for 11 years, a full decade from 2009 to 2020, I've been at East, and so that was a really hard decision to make. But every one of our guys that responded in the group text was extremely supportive, and they were excited for me, and so it's really, to me, that's what coaching's all about, is building those bonds that are going to last a lifetime.
That's true. Well, good news for all of my Maize South people watching at home, because I know there will be a lot, that this great coach plans on being at high school for a while, but I love that so much, and it definitely translates to when you do watch your players, even when you're not coaching them anymore. Just I feel like they carry that with them, so I really admire that. And then before we kind of wrap things up, let's just talk about, also, you're going to be a teacher, so if you don't play basketball, you can still experience the Joe Jackson effect. So what do you teach, and how did you come about teaching it?
Well, that's a lot of pressure right there. So, so at Fort Hays State, I was a business education major, so I've got a degree in business, and then initially I minored in secondary education and finished out that second major now, actually. And the whole experience at Hill City, not only basketball under Coach Riley, but I was also able to teach. I did my student teaching under Diana Hart, and Mrs. Hart is in the Kansas Teachers Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And so I just, I've been very, very fortunate to be in the position I've been in, to work under some incredible people and to learn from some of the absolute best. And so, in business, when you're certified to be a business teacher, there are so many different subject areas that you can cover. And so at East, I've taught a lot of different classes there. Ranging from investing is probably my favorite class to teach. Kids love that. We're playing the stock market game. We're learning about different types of investments, talking about growing money, and kids all like to grow their money. So, that's a fun subject to teach. But I've taught personal finance. We called it financial literacy there. I'll be teaching something similar to that at Maize as well. So at Maize South, and so I'm excited about that. I've taught graphic design in the past, so I know some Photoshop basics. I wouldn't claim to be a master of Photoshop. There's so many things you can do, but I know my way around that a little bit. I've taught a business management course, sports and entertainment marketing. Back in the day, we taught a keyboarding class. We don't do that anymore. So there are a lot of different courses that I've taught over the years, and so to me that's fun to be able to be flexible and to learn and to be able to teach a lot of different life skills that are very practical for when kids graduate. These are skills that they're going to be prepared for life with.
Yeah. And another thing we were talking about when you first got here is I was actually in Business Professionals of America, so was my older brother Jacob. So the crazy thing is that you've probably been around the coaching scene, or not the coaching, but judging scene and everything while I was doing that, which is crazy. So that's another connection, which is just crazy to think about because high school seems like so long ago for me. But that's awesome, and I'm so excited because it's been easy going to Wichita State to keep in touch with some Maize South roots. So I know they're very lucky to have you. I've been keeping up with everything they do, so I'm so excited for that. And before we're done here, do you have some advice for, I know there's a lot of kids that are either in middle school and wanting to try out for teams, or even parents that are going to have their kids trying out for teams. What do you look for? Because basketball is such a sought after sport, especially in high school.
Absolutely. There are so many factors that play a part into being a good student athlete, and we always preach, the academics first, and you've got to be, do a good job handling your business in the classroom, and everything else to be eligible and to, and honestly, that's bigger, for moving on after high school than anything. But as far as like the athletic side of it, we, as a coach, we love guys that bring toughness every day, guys that are going to make hustle plays, guys that are going to work hard. So many guys work, ball handling skills, and that's all important. I'm not saying that's not, but honestly, there are so many kids doing skills work now, and they've got their skills trainers, and they're developing, their ball handling skills and different types of finishes with both hand. And but one of the biggest separators right now is, who's going to show that toughness and who's going to do the little things that help win. Kids probably don't want to hear it, but guys that rebound the basketball, guys that can lock down defensively and can show some toughness and show that grit are guys that I love working with. And it was funny the other day at the end of conditioning, one of the football guys at Maize South, Colin Shields, is a quarterback there, and we were kind of joking with each other because he was talking a little bit about basketball, even though he's a football guy, and he was saying, Coach, board man gets paid, and that was a Kawhi Leonard quote, after Kawhi talks about that a lot, after they won the NBA championship with the Raptors and everything. And I actually have a t-shirt at home that says board man gets paid, so I was giving Colin a hard time telling him I was going to tag him in a tweet and everything after I got done working out my board man gets paid shirt.
That's awesome.
But for any kids out there, you've got to work hard. We have a saying, skills are king, and so skills are super important in basketball. You've got to spend time working on the skills, but there is always a place for a kid who hustles and shows toughness and can defend and rebound.
Yep.
So those are all things that are important, and there's only going to be one leading scorer on every team. But we truly want to make our kids feel like they're valued no matter what their role is. And somebody that comes in and can average 8 rebounds and play great defense is somebody that's equally as important to the leading scorer. And even the 12th guy down at the end of the bench might be a JV kid that's suiting up and playing JV, but he's waving that towel in the varsity game and being excited to be there. That person is just as valuable. And we have a little saying we talk about, never above you, never below you, always beside you. And so that's the mindset we want all of our guys to have, and we want to just be able to build on this positive culture at Maize South. I've been incredibly just impressed with the culture all around the entire school there. Coach Schultz at Maize South had done it. He's the only basketball coach the school's ever had. He did a fantastic job there. Definitely. And so I really feel honored to be able to kind of follow his lead there and everything. And we're going to try to continue building the positive culture that's there. And I've already built such a great relationship with Ben Hamilton, the girls coach, and Coach Pfeiffer, the football coach, and our AD Curtis Klein has been fantastic. Mr. Hickerson, the principal, has been incredible. So I'm just super excited to be a Mav and thankful to be a part and looking to hopefully build something special there. Yeah,
I have to laugh because I feel like I'm back in high school hearing all of these names, and it's been, I'm so thankful to be at Shocker, blah, 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 but now it's like Mavs. I'm like, wait, what? I'm back in high school now. It's crazy. But thank you so much for coming on today. It was very inspirational and amazing to hear your journey. If people want to follow you, Maize South, one thing about Maize South is they love Twitter. So you mentioned tweets. So where can they find you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter at Mavs Joe Jackson. Mavs Joe Jackson. So awesome. That's my Twitter handle. So
awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again for coming on, and I can't wait for everyone to see how awesome you are. I feel like I got to showcase you before you actually begin. So kind of got a head start. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, Aliyah. This was great. Thank you.
Of course.